All right, let's just get right into it. For generations, the world of knowledge had a really clear set of rules, right? Well, that world is gone. The rule book has been completely shredded. We are living through this massive, fundamental shift because the age of answers, it's over. Done.
And, it's so easy to just point the finger at AI, right? To say that's the thing that broke everything. But the real story, it's actually way more interesting than that. See, AI didn't really break our models of business and education. What it did was hold up a giant mirror. It just exposed all these fragile, kind of shaky assumptions we've all been quietly relying on for decades.
So to really get a grip on where we're headed, we've got to take a step back. We need to look at the world that was. The one we all built, the one that's now, well, it's fading away.
Think about it. For the longest time, the deal with education was super simple. It was basically a transaction. You come to school, you pay us, and in return, we'll give you the answers. That was the promise. You'd get these neat frameworks, these perfect case studies, basically a reliable map to a good, successful career.
And, this whole system made perfect sense back in what you could call the age of scarcity. Information wasn't just a click away. It was locked up in libraries, in these crazy expensive textbooks, and of course, in the heads of experts. In that kind of world, just knowing stuff that other people didn't, that was real power. That was your edge.
So naturally, we built an entire operating system for education around this idea of scarcity. And the logic was really rigid, very step by step. First, we teach you the theory. Step 2, we show you a case study where that theory worked like a charm. Step 3, we tell you to apply it very carefully. And finally, we reward you for being correct, for getting that one single right answer.
And let's be totally clear here. The system wasn't bad. It actually worked brilliantly for a long, long time. Why? Because it gave the market exactly what it wanted. Employers got predictable, reliable people. Students got a safe, secure path to a good job. The rules were clear, and pretty much everyone won.
But then, yeah, you know what's coming. Things started to shift. Quietly at first. Technology just kept getting faster, markets got a whole lot messier, and suddenly the problems graduates were facing in the real world, they just stopped playing by the textbook rules. All those neat, tidy answers we were selling, they started to feel, well, a lot less valuable.
Which brings us right here to today. This is that moment of impact, where that old, comfortable model is just crashing head-on into a totally new, kind of chaotic, and super abundant reality. I mean, just look at the difference. It's night and day. We went from a world of physical books, scarce information, to a world that's instant, infinite, and intelligent. We've literally jumped from an economy of information scarcity to one of intelligence abundance.
And this gets to the absolute core of it. Answers. The very thing education used to sell, they're not a differentiator anymore, at all. They're just infrastructure. They're as common and as cheap as the electricity powering your device right now. The new reality, honestly, it's just basic arithmetic. If a task has a known beginning and a known end, if it's a clear process, it is being automated. It's just a matter of time. And that includes a lot of those entry-level analytical jobs we've been training people for.
So this leads to a really, really uncomfortable question. And it's one that students are already asking out loud. If the AI knows the answer, and employers keep saying that real-world experience is what really matters, then what exactly is the degree for? What are we even paying for?
Now, the first instinct is to just, slap a Band-Aid on it, add a few new courses, AI for business, Digital Strategy 101. But that's like trying to run the latest apps on a computer from 1998. It's just not going to work. The problem isn't the apps, it's not the curriculum, it's the entire operating system. It needs a complete overhaul.
Okay, so if we're going to build that new operating system, we have to get real for a second. We need to understand the actual rules of the game, a few hard truths about how innovation really works, especially inside big, established institutions.
All right, truth number 1. Facts don't change minds. Experiences do. You can throw 100 PowerPoint slides at someone, but real judgment, the kind that actually matters, that's forged in the fire when you've got something on the line.
Truth number 2, the old smothers the new. Big systems have like an immune response to anything that's genuinely different. They'll take a groundbreaking idea, they'll translate it, they'll align it, they'll standardize it, until, with no one even trying to be malicious, that original spark is just gone.
Number 3, and this is a big one. There is no data on the future. You cannot prove a truly new idea will work with all data. Institutions, they love their predictable 5-year plans. But real innovation, that requires a leap of faith. It requires experimentation.
And finally, the great paradox. Institutions will tell you they love innovation, but man, do they often hate their innovators. Why? Because innovators are messy. They're disruptive. They challenge how things are done. The system says it wants something new, but only if it acts exactly like the old.
Okay, so with those tough truths on the table, where do we go from here? Let's get to the good part. Let's talk about the world that could be. Let's talk about building the school of the future.
The new model has to completely flip the script. We have to put experience before explanation. You start students with real, messy, complex problems that have no easy answer. You let them wrestle with it, get their hands dirty, and then you bring in the theory to help them make sense of what they just went through.
And when you teach that way, you build a totally different set of skills. These are the new superpowers, right? Not just memorizing stuff, but having good judgment when things are ambiguous. Not just solving problems, but creatively finding the right problems to solve. It's about learning agility and navigating paradox without needing a simple yes or no.
And this is where AI becomes this incredible partner, not our replacement. We have got to stop trying to ban it or police it and start teaching people how to use it as a powerful creative tool. Let the machine generate a million answers. The uniquely human work, that's in synthesis and finding the meaning and in making the choice.
Because at the end of the day, when answers are free and infinite, what's the last thing that's actually scarce and valuable? It's meaning. The ability to look at all that noise and find the signal, to set a direction, to say, this is what matters. That is the real revolution. So that's the new challenge for every single one of us. We have spent centuries perfecting a world that's amazing at finding answers, but now we have to learn a totally new skill. Because in an age of infinite answers, the only thing that's going to matter is asking the right questions.